Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Yesterday, connecting on with what we did yesterday, I'd like to look once again at the purpose of creation. So the family four-position foundation and the purpose of creation. God's purpose of creation is because God is the original substance of heart, that love cannot be felt, true love cannot be felt or perfected without an object. So if God is the original substance of Shim, and heart, but without that object, he cannot experience that. Therefore, through Adam and Eve, God's purpose of creation was to accomplish the family level four-position foundation. God's purpose of creation is the manifestation or realization of true love. Because God as one being exists in one central point, but in order to expand it, therefore 2 points are necessary. For that reason, God's true love manifests in division, as a divided love. So within true love, I already spoke about this, we have parents' love, which is a love that, a type of love that is directed downwards. We can use the word compassion to express this. Then there is a conjugal love between Adam and Eve, which is a horizontal love. So the vertical parents' love and through when the parents' love is manifest through the couple, then it is expressed horizontally and expanded horizontally between couples. Then harmonious affection or harmonious love is the nature of the love. A man, as I mentioned before, if you go to the spirit world, you look at a man, then you look inside him, you will see the woman. And externally, you may see the woman, but at the same time, within her is the husband, with whom she had become one with true love. So the couple actually forms one body. A perfected couple becomes one body. Likewise, God himself is one original substance existing in one point. Within that one point, the ideal cannot be expressed, so that expressed vertically downward. Within God the Father, there is only one point of love. And there is the seed of love, the seed of the Son, and the seed of the woman. And these are expressed externally in the world in two. And through the son of the seed of the son, seed of the daughter, manifest as Adam and Eve. And then with an Adam and Eve within perfection need to become one, so that Adam becomes Eve, Eve becomes one. However, within that unity, there is always an order. And this is why we explained that the husband is the subject and the woman is the object. When when Eve is relating to Adam, she is actually relating to God. However, if Eve, relating to God as Adam as a substantial God, says, "No, I am also God," this results in a situation where there are two subjects. So through the conjugal love between the couple, then children's love is manifested on the earth, and that child's love is an upward directed love towards the parents. And this is what we refer to as filial piety or filial devotion. So the children exist as the extension of the parents. So God's true love exists within himself, and by himself he cannot experience it and feel it. Therefore, when God created Adam and Eve, and they in substance relate together through love, God himself is perfected through the love that they share with each other and substantialize with each other. And then through Adam, God's ideal is expanded and brought into the world and expanded. So, therefore, for God, the most precious unit is the parents, husband, wife, and children. These three stages. Without these three stages, there's no possibility of creating God's ideal. Parents, husband, wife, children. 3 stages. In the terms of area, we call this, in a spatial sense, in terms of area, we call it the 4-position foundation. So, in order for that to expand as well, and that expansion needs to take place through time. So, from the viewpoint of time, we express it as origin, division, union. So, in a spatial sense, we have 4-position foundation, and in the temporal sense, we have origin, division, union. One is the method and the result for the manifestation of God's ideal of creation. So God's ideal love is manifest in a divided nature, in a divided way, in order that it can be perfected through give and receive action. So within the 4-position foundation, we can say that this is the foundation for morality, it is the foundation for ethics. So what do we mean when we talk about morality, or in Korean, dodok? We're talking about the norms for behavior on an individual level. What kind of behavior is required in order to substantiate God's will and God's ideal. And the norms for that are what we mean by morality. So it is the norms for the action carried out by individual truth bodies. So, for example, God gave the commandment to Adam and Eve, do not eat the fruit of the tree. If they had kept that word and become perfected, they would have become the son and daughter of God, and they would have obtained the qualification to dominate the creation. So the most important thing is keeping the norms as in your individual behavior, and this is what we refer to as morality. Sorry, can you just grab that?
So I have to dominate myself. And also God he began with a one core, and he developed along a one axis, and he created himself, but there was Father had, in order to do this for himself, Father had a certain motto that before one dominates the universe, they have to dominate oneself. You have to become a person who can dominate myself. If I cannot dominate myself, then how am I going to dominate the universe? And so that was his motto at his beginning of his mission. And that is that So this is the norm for accomplishing the 4-position foundation on the individual level.
Where mind and my body become one together, well, I become the temple of God. Without love, I cannot become one with God. Just as my Father in heaven is perfect, I need to become perfect. the most important in order to accomplish that is absolute sex. By keeping absolute sex, then perfection becomes possible. If you perfect absolute sex, then God's original nature is perfected within me. And that establishes the individual four-position foundation. So when we talk about ethics, we're not talking about the individual situation, but rather the norms for behavior within family life. So, in other words, these are norms for behavior in an extended form, or let's say as a connected body. So, you are me, I am you. The parents are the children, children are the parents. Brothers are the sisters, sisters are the brothers. When they have the relationship to each other in this sense and practice that, this is the purpose of ethics. So if, for example, my brother commits some action that violates or commits some sin, then that becomes the pain of the entire family because we are a connected body. So the family ethics are the foundation for the ethics within society. If we expand family ethics, that's the foundation for ethics within society, expand it to the national level. It's the foundation for national ethics. If the family has a problem then with ethics, then this affects the national ethics as well, the nation. So it's through ethics, through family ethics, that we're able to perfect the second blessing. Whereas it's through morality that the first blessing is perfected. And in order for the family to accomplish or perfect the family level four-position foundation, all the members of the family need to adhere to those ethics. It doesn't matter what the parents do. If the children are off track, then that family four-position foundation cannot be completed, cannot be perfected. So morality in this sense are an internal or subjective norms that we keep within myself, but family ethics are an objective norm that we need to keep. They exist without us. We share them together. So within the universe, we see that there is a principle at work functioning between all the connected bodies in the universe. For example, the solar system, viewed as a connected body, has a certain order and a certain structure. And we can say that this is the heavenly way, or Chondo. And this is the manifestation in the material world of the principles of the morality and ethics. Therefore, the natural path of natural law that we see in the universe allows the natural universe to grow through the principle and reach perfection. And for me to participate in that as well, I need to be able to align with natural law. I need to be one with natural law in order to participate fully in the creation. So when human beings fell and separated from God, then God, who is the original substance of love, was put into a position of suffering because he had no object to give his love to. So, from this viewpoint, there was no one who suffered as much as God. So, let's have a look then. Within the family, we have vertical order and a horizontal order. And the order within the family is the basis of the order within society, within the nation, within the cosmos. From this viewpoint, everything is an expansion of the order within the family. But then order within the family has both a vertical order and a horizontal order. Why? Because true love is accomplished through God's love, which is comes from one central point, needs to manifest in 2 points in a unified body, a connected body. So within the vertical, we have in the center we have the parents. Above the parents there are the grandparents, and above the grandparents we have the great grandparents. Beneath the parents, then we have the children, and then the children will have children again, and there's the grandchildren. So vertically seen from the viewpoint. So even though children, for example, stand in the position of an individual truth body, they're also connected with each other. There's a connected body through the vertical axis. So, for example, a daughter has been raised by a father or may want to meet a husband who embodies the qualities that she knows from her father. Then this vertical axis can be expressed in other ways, in other places, and it's where we learn to relate to each other on this vertical level. For example, in some relationships, a young woman may look at an older woman as her elder sister. So, even amongst men, for example, they're all men. From the viewpoint of this man, that person is like in a position of my father, and from the viewpoint of that man, this man is like in the position of my son. In this way, the vertical order within the family becomes the basis for relationships outside of the family as well. So the vertical order is accomplished through one central axis. And that core, that basic core, then is expanded out horizontally. So, and that must be expanded horizontally. And when there is a horizontal expansion, there is always, of necessity, there is always a central axis, a central core. The power of true love is such that when we give true love, the more we give it, the happier we are, because it creates joy. So we want to keep giving joy, true love. How about God? So God is an eternal being, and He has true love. The love of God is the true love. So, in this sense, we can understand that family ethics is expressed through connected bodies, both with a vertical order and a horizontal order. So, what about within the universe? The universe likewise has a vertical order and a horizontal order. For example, within the solar system, the sun is in the central axis. We have the center of the solar system, but above the center of the solar system, there is also the center of the central axis or core of the galaxy, and above that is the central core of the universe. Going down on the vertical level, then we have the Earth. The Earth also has its center point, and centering on the Earth, we have, for example, the Moon, and that also has a central point. There are some numbers that are so big that they cannot be counted in our entire life because they're so big. So if to count the number of the stars within the Milky Way, if we counted them one by one, it would take 3,200 years. And the point is that we can understand how absolutely enormous is the universe. And in fact, there is no end to the universe. It is unlimited. It's eternal. And God is eternal. The principle that God established is eternal. So, centering then horizontally on the sun in the middle of our solar system, we have the different 8 planets. We have Mercury, we have Venus, we have the Earth, we have Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, and so forth. The third planet is the Earth, on which human beings live. And then even the Earth has its own axis on which it rotates. And the Earth rotates around us. At the same time, the Earth rotates around the sun. And one rotation is what we call a year. And then the Earth rotates on its own axis, and that one rotation on its own axis is 24 hours, one day. But at the same time, there is a moon. You have the sun, we have the Earth, we have the moon. The moon is a satellite. It's not a planet, it's a satellite. So it's not a planet because it rotates around the Earth, which is a planet. When the moon goes through one cycle around the sun, we call that 1 month. So this is the Earth. The moon symbolizes the woman, which is rotating around the Earth, as the man. This is why women's menstrual cycle occurs once every month. So from this viewpoint, the Earth rotates around the sun. If the moon symbolizes the woman is, who does the woman orbit around? Around her husband. And then who is the center of the husband? The center of the husband must be God. So, for that reason, Adam was created as God's son and at the same time as God's body. Eve was created, she is God's daughter, but at the same time is the wife of Adam. It's a horizontal relationship. So they both grow vertically, to mature vertically, but once they have reached that maturization, then the horizontal unity that Eve creates with Adam is what establishes God's love. So Eve receives the seed of true love from God through Adam. And so that is the horizontal multiplication. If there's no Adam, there cannot be no Eve. So Eve and Adam need to become one, but even within that oneness, there is an order. Why? Because within God Himself, the Song-Sang is the subject position, Hyung-Sang is the object position. There is an order within God Himself. It's an absolute relationship within God. And therefore, human beings, in their manifestation, need to reflect the same order. Therefore, there is always the order between subject and object, even in unity. So today we looked about family ethics and vertical and horizontal order and how that also manifests within the universe. We can say that the horizontal and vertical order within the family is the basis of this vertical horizontal order within the universe. So, we can say that this is the heavenly way, or Chondo in Korean. And the nature of that Chondo, or heavenly way, is the formula or the structure that pervades all things throughout the entire universe. So, this universe which starts from God the revolution of the universe centering on God is just as within the solar system we can see that the order or the orbit of the planets is completely accurate and defined. Because God created the principle, therefore the heavenly path of the principle is eternal, extremely accurate and eternal. And the universe, all of the planets within the solar system have a relationship centering on the sun, and from that viewpoint they are an extended or a connected body. And so within our case, we have the path that we should keep as individuals, but then the path of morality that we should keep as individuals, but there is also the ethics that we need to practice within our family as a connected body. And these together are what we refer to as the way of heaven. And all beings in the created world have a law and an order in the way that they exist. That's the point. So let's have a look at the equality of true love and equality through order. What's equality? And today there's talk about gender equality, but does that mean that men can be women and women can be men? Man can become a president of the nation. Man can become a president. Woman can become a president. Man can be the head of a company, and so can a woman. And so the idea was that okay, they're equal in that sense. They can fulfill the same role. But this idea was then extended out into a situation where men can be women, and this is how we devolve into a situation that promotes homosexuality and gender equality and transgender and so forth. If we think about liberation theology in South America, we see them not actually making donations to the church, but rather taking things from the church. Within the Catholic nations, they cannot just witness to others. If you witness to people, for example, on the principle within a Catholic culture, and that student comes along, it can be a really big problem because of the network within the Catholic society.
When I was in the South America, we had a causa, and this was an anti-communist movement, and there was a man. There was a man who was working in a company, but he could not witness to his superior. If he did, it would be a problem. This is said to be liberation, but actually they made it so that they could not convey God's words. This was not liberation at all. And so this is what Satan is doing. So this equal thing, this is not just any equality, but there's also order. But the most important thing in order is love. If love collapses, there's nothing, because the equality is equality centered on love. For example, if a man can run 100 meters in 9 seconds, can a woman do that? So women cannot do everything that man can in an athletic sense. And no matter... So, or if you were to race a deer, who's going to win? Human beings lose to a deer. And in these external things, there is no equality. And also, let's say, okay, men and women are equal. So while women have children, can a man have a woman? No, not in a million years, because that is not how we were created. And so then a man... So since the woman goes out and makes money, and the man is at home taking care of the kids and washing dishes, does he become a woman? So I say, some people say that this is a equality. So a man working in the kitchen, is that equality? Is that equality? Equality? No, it isn't. So that is just roles. That is just a division of roles, responsibilities. So if people don't know for certainty, they fall into confusion, and then in the end we can't become the people that God wants us to be. So without knowing it, we fall into that kind of situation. So equality. How do we understand equality? So we have a human subject partner and a human object partner, and the human subject partner is the male, and the human object partner is the woman. So then, if we say these are equal, how are they equal? They are equal, but not just in any way, but they are equal in love. It's not gender equality, but man loves a woman, woman loves a man, and the father loves the children. The children loves the father. So these are also all in subject-object partner relationships. So this is all love. Also, then the second, there is a equality in character, because we both resemble a God, as we both attend God. So Father said this, that there are 3 iron rules. One, absolute sex is one, and next is do not hurt other people's hearts. And then the third is do not misuse public funds. These are the 3 iron laws that he gave. And so there's but the root of character is a 심정. So and that is the root of a true love, and that is the core of a character. So if we ignore someone's character, then we are ignoring God's 심정, and we are ignoring God's true love. So the conclusion is that we would be ignoring God himself. And so in this position, so the man and woman, the subject and object, they are in a different position. They're not in the same position. There's a difference. It is a difference of position. And so then the man is the male subject partner, and a woman is the female object partner. This is the difference between the two. And then this difference can be changed by no one. And then this, we say, so these two are pretty much the same as I think just 2 different ways of saying a position, but so the woman is so one is on the right, one is on the left. Can the right go to the left? Can the left go to the right? No. So no matter how much they move around, eventually they have to go back to their position. So they can go around, and sometimes the woman might go to the man's seat, and the man might go to the woman's seat, but they go around and around, and eventually they come back to their own seats. So because there's a give and receive. Oh, then I'm a man. I'm the subject partner. Can she say that? That is destruction. there is give and receive, and so sometimes they can become do that way, but and that it makes them one. But but that is done in love. So we must respect the other partner's character. So in other words, to love the other more than I love myself. So then there is this difference in status and position. This is done in order to maintain order. So if this is the position or status is destroyed, then the order is destroyed. So within the family, this is morality, and within society, it's norms, it's ethics. So the same thing in the heavens. There's the sun is the subject partner, and the earth in the object partner. So, and the object partner is always revolving around the subject partner. So Father said this way: no matter how difficult the paths of the children may be, if the father stands in the center and stands upright, then at some point in the future, the children will return. But if the center begins to shake and the center is destroyed, then there's no hope. So absolutely, the center must maintain the center. That is why God maintains the center. The Messiah maintains the center, and then that is how the providence of restoration can succeed. So in the Unification Church, this ideal of the principle, no matter how much is difficult or how confusing this is, this will certainly be accomplished. Why? And in other words, the content that Father has revealed will be accomplished, and no one can accomplish this in an exclusive manner. It may go around and round and round, but eventually it will come back to the center, reconnect to the center. Father said this way. So if you go to a waterfall, the water is falling, and here it digs out a very large hole there where it falls, and over hundreds of years, thousands of years, then that hole becomes very deep at the bottom. And then it goes down, and when it comes up, as it comes up, it rotates. And let's say that a branch falls in there, and it goes in there, go down, it will always that the branch will rotate and eventually come back up. So always there's a center, and everything may rotate and go round and round, but eventually it will come back to its position. So that's why the center is important. So here, let's say that there is a stake here in the ground, and we put a rubber band on that stake, and we pull that, and that rubber band may go far away or maybe near, or it can go around 360 degrees, and then it can go around 360 degrees, but the center must not move. And then but if this rubber band has a limitation, so if I at some point it will rip, and it will, because it does not have unlimited strength, elasticity, but within that limit it will go and come and go, and then go around 360 degrees. But the center, as long as the center is there. So the object is the object of beauty. Object partner is the object partner of beauty. So if it's just one direction, there would not be a beauty. But if you have different degrees and different directions, then there is a beauty. So it could go far and then come back, and go far and come back, go east and west and south and north, and then the center below is one. But the revolving object can be 360 degrees, and it can be the object of beauty. So among men and women, who is the object partner? The woman, right? So then the woman is the object partner of beauty. So the they have many clothes of different colors. Men don't have so many clothes, either gray or just a few colors. But the women have, I think all the colors in the world were created for the sake of women's clothing. So some people change the clothes every day. So Monday this clothing, this outfit. Tuesday and Wednesday, sometimes a dress and a blouse, or a skirt and blouse and one piece, and they have all things. So for 30 days, women can have a different outfit every day, but men can't do that. So if I have a blue today and white tomorrow, that would be kind of strange. But women are not that way, though. Isn't that right? So, do men wear these earrings? No. The Father said, Father talked about earrings. Father said that they have these earrings so that they can hang on to men. So women need men, and then have this eyebrows, or they keep painting their faces all sorts of colors, and if they have dark skin, they will paint it very lightly, put on light makeup or so. And so then when they have all that paint on, they look very beautiful, but when they wash their face, they're completely different. And then it feels different to look at her then. So then the woman, the one person I know, 24 hours, she always keeps her face very beautiful. And she gets up early in the morning because she doesn't want her husband to see her without makeup, so she gets very early in the morning and puts on very light makeup, and the husband thinks that that's what she looks like naturally. And then all day and then all into the night, and she's been doing that in her entire married life. But then one day she went into the hospital to be an operation, and she doesn't look like that. She doesn't have makeup on. So a woman is the object of love, object of beauty. So they can make themselves beautiful. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm just saying that that's the way it is. But if you don't do that, what happens? So then one thing that we need to be careful of is that who are we trying to look beautiful? Who is supposed to look at this and find it as beautiful? Your husband, in your family, and also the children. The children look at their mother and say, "Wow, our mother's really beautiful." And the husband too. "Oh, yeah, my wife is beautiful." And the father-in-law, "Oh, my daughter-in-law is beautiful." This is good, but some people, they don't wear makeup in the home and only wear makeup outside the home. Then who is supposed to look at that? Who's supposed to see that as beautiful? Then all the other men is. And so that's why the world today is strange. There is no center, and the men in the world then, well, maybe I want to touch her. So that's the environment that we are in, and so that makes the fall possible. So we have to protect ourselves. So the equality is the equality of love and equality of character, and the equality of satisfaction and joy. So if we make love, and if there's love, then there's a subject and object. Both are joyful, and they have to be able to meet each other as a one-to-one. And then when they have give and receive, centering on love, and then the woman must be joyful and satisfied, and both must be joyful and satisfied. So it cannot be just one of them. And so centering on the they must have to be happy, centering and joyful, centering on the mind and also on the body. We can be one in mind before the marriage, but the marriage is to let men and women become one in body as well. So the marriage of Adam would be the marriage of God's body, and the first marriage night would be the experience of God. And so God would go into Adam because he is the subject partner, and through him he would love Eve, and so the man expresses God's love, and the woman receives that and owns that, and completes that love. And so that is how God can be joyful and satisfied. So, but if only Adam is satisfied and Eve is not, then it's only half. And so this is not the ideal that God desires. So the order and equality is centered on love, and this is not gender equality. Do you understand? It's not gender equality. But then, if there's a dual characteristics within God, and we created men and women in the image of God, and the man is the father, and the woman is the mother, and then so therefore there is a mother God and a mother God, and so that means that would be that there were two original substances, and they would absolutely have to fight. Then they would never become one, if that were the case, and then everything would be a problem. That's how the fallen world is. There's God and there's Satan. There are not two gods. There was a mistake, and so Satan came about in the created world. So the mind is with God, but the body is with Satan, and even within the mind, there's an original mind and evil mind. So, but that's how that is a result of the fall. But it's not. But that's not how it's supposed to be. So, it is equality is not centered on gender, but on love, character, satisfaction, and joy. That's where the equality is. So then the special rights of true love. So then there are certain special rights to true love, and that is there's the right of participation, right of same status, and the right of living together. And I mentioned this slightly yesterday. So if a young woman in the countryside and a prince in the palace, these two cannot be together normally, but let's say that the woman wants to love the prince. But that's not going to work. The prince has to decide. The subject partner has to make the decision. So if the subject partner says come, but the object partner says no, I don't want to go, that's how it happens in the fallen world, but not in God's ideal. So if the subject partner says has his subject partner of love, and God expresses His love through Adam, and that is how God's love appears in the world. And then Eve he receives God's and experiences and owns God's love, and he owns and completes God's love. That is, Eve does that, and then Adam also is able to feel God's love and is able to. So perfection can never be achieved alone. So the participation, right of participation. So it means that human beings can always be with God. So this is impossible in the theologies of today. So God, we are just always under God, and in today's in today's established theologies, human beings and God are always very, very far apart. They can never be together. So it's as if a commoner were to go and to sit down and eat with the prince. That would be impossible because there's a difference in status and position. But if that prince were to come out of the palace, he would be just a commoner. So how can human beings and God become one? With money? No. With power? No. With a strength, a power? No. With a certain knowledge? No. God is the king of knowledge and the king of power. And so what does he need? He can create everything. But when there's just one thing that he needs, and that is love. So he has created everything, but for him to complete that creation, there needs to be love. God and human beings and man and woman, it's the same thing. So the most precious thing that he established is he established that in the most precious position. And so he will bow his head in the presence of love. So we also do that. So only the person who has love can become one with God. And so today we see that parents and children, what would we say to them? What do they say? Do parents want their children to be better than themselves or not as good as themselves? Certainly, every parent wants his children to become better than themselves. They go and they say, "Oh, this is my son, this is my daughter." Because even though the father may be ugly, if the children are handsome and beautiful, then they are proud of them and they go around introducing them. This is my daughter, this is my son. Why? Because the children come from within them, and so when the children do well, then the parents are happy. So does God want the human beings to be better than himself or not as good? Always be under my feet. Is that what he says? That's not God. So I want you to be better than me. That's what he wants. That is, we have that heart because that comes from within God. So as we are living on this earth, we see how important order is, how important norms are. And there is always love has to be the center of that. And today, now, but this is not just a sexual love. That is a secondary. And is that right? You have God and Adam's minds become one, and then they marry with Eve, and that means that their sexual organs become one. And then Adam and Eve have sex, and then do they have sex first? I see. God has to be present between Adam and Eve first, and then after that, then Adam and Eve can have sexual relations. So we might say, well, what do we need God for? We can just have sex and multiply our children, but God always that would be just planting the seed, and Adam and Eve could have 10 or more. So in that sense, because Adam and Eve can multiply, they're better than God, and so centering on. That's why centering on love, even God will bow his head. But Lucifer destroyed that love, Lucifer destroyed that love, by that he became the enemy of God. But God could not simply strike him and destroy him. If he had done that, Lucifer would have said, "Wait a second, what was your purpose in creating me? I was your servant, yes, but wasn't there love there?" Yes, and so God, because He created Lucifer as the object of His love, He would have to maintain that love for eternity. So He cannot. Strike Lucifer. That is what God. That is what Father discovered. So He said, "You are absolute. You are the owner. So why can't you just strike Satan?" But God did not respond, and Father wondered why. And then he went into the world of God's Shimjong, and then he understood. Then that Satan, so he pulled that Satan to God, and here this archangel is a sinner. These are the sins that he committed. So and Father could do that. He was the illicit love, and this is the sinner, this is the criminal who destroyed your ideal of creation. And so this is what Father revealed for the first time. But the Satan said, no, 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 no. So the first and second time he denied it, and then the third time, and then Father went to God and said, "This is without mistake. It's absolute. What happened to Adam? What happened to Eve? And what happened to the angels?" And then Satan could not say anything, and he had to acknowledge that. So then, God, please give us a judgment. Who's right? Who's right on this? What kind of what would God's judgment be? So he said, Father was right, and then he said, God declared that everyone would have to follow Father. This was God's acknowledgement of Father as the Messiah. Do you understand? So then, this was just something that was given to Father. Adam lost it, so Father had to find it again, and Satan would always deny it. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong, and Father had to fight against the myriads of Satans on this earth, and then go to God, and Adam, Eve, and Archangel also. So all the saints that in history, they were all subjugated by Father, and God acknowledged that after that this was true. So this is the principle, and so that is the content that God permitted. This is what we are learning today as the principle. So this is incredible words that we have in our possession. So this is more than hundreds of nuclear bombs. If you explode an atomic bomb, then all the living beings in that area will be destroyed. But this love, this content of Shimjong, once that is planted in people's hearts, then it will have far more power than an atomic bomb. And the atomic bomb can destroy external things, but it cannot affect people's hearts. So today, what we prayed was that if we pray here, we can affect people who are on the other side of the earth. And that is the power of love. So, because this universe is huge, and how is God going to manage this universe? Are they just going to create it and then not do anything with it? No, He has a way of light. Is it faster or slower than our heart? So the heart or the mind is faster. The light travels through time at times, but that's not true with the mind. So right now, just now, I went to my room, my home in Korea. Just now, it didn't even take a second. Not even a tenth of a second. I just went there and back. And so the mind is much faster than light. So what is even faster than that is love, faster than the mind. And so that is why He built everything with love, and that He is the original substance of love, and so He manages everything with love. So that is why love is, it cannot be forced. Cannot be forced. I saw this when I was attending Father. One leader came to Father and said, I'm doing this, and I think of God's will requires this, and Father said, yes, all right. So then you'll need some money, won't you? About how much do you need? And he had made a plan, and he had just said, this is how much. All right, but Father said, no, that's not going to be enough. Probably take several times that. This is what Father would say. The man said, this is all he needed, but Father said, no, it's going to take several times that. And so he would give that much, and he would add to that even. What kind of leader is that? And then a few days later, he would say, a little while later, the man came back and said, I need more money. And Father gave him more money. And then sometime later, again, he didn't have any more money, but he couldn't. He was embarrassed to say that to Father. But Father knew. He says, "Oh, how much do you need now?" And so he gave it to them. And so then the Father is. I don't know if he knows or not that sometimes he's using it in other purposes, and he comes back for more. I know that. But does Father really understand this, or does he know this or not? So he knows everything, though. He knows it, but he's still giving it to him. Of course, through him, there are some historical indemnity that has to be accomplished through that person. And so then, but the man said that he would do it for God's will, so he gave it to him. But then one day he said, "But I've heard this for the first time from Father. These guys, a lot of people took money from me, but no one reported back to me. So they, whether there's a penny left over or a penny not enough, insufficient, but no one said that they had too much or not enough. So Father said this just once, that they never report back to me about what happened to that money. But they just said, oh, that person is responsible. All right, for God's will, all right, but you have to be responsible. So that is all going to be that person's responsibility in spirit world. And so even if they are in Father's realm and authority, in spirit world, they have this sign on themselves of their sins. And so the descendants on earth have to set indemnity conditions for that sign to be taken off them. And so you have to do that. Then you have to be responsible. Then freedom is good. But as you want, anything you want. But to be free, freedom is only in the principle. Freedom without principle is a licentiousness. And so here there are the three rights, special rights of true love. It is the participation and the same position. But how shall we see? We go into the same position and we have the same authority there, and also living together. And then if the king goes, then the wife of the king also goes with him. So lives together with him and goes and participates with him, but she's not equal though. So then this. So this cannot be said same participation, same and living together, and then therefore are equal. This is wrong. You cannot attach equal to that. So I said yesterday. So the Korean sentence, father goes into the room, or father goes into the bag. In Korean, there's just one letter moved from right to left, and completely changes the sentence. And so you have to be very, very careful about what people say, because if you're not careful, they can change just one syllable that can change the entire meaning of the whole sentence. And people can be fooled by that. So we have to be careful. So we need to know God's will correctly and go the correct way. So So true love invests and then forgets. It gives and wants to keep on giving, and so it is a life for the sake of others. So not that I don't want to live for myself. I want to live for others. See, I'm not grabbing. I'm not giving to myself, but to others. This is true love. But in the satanic world, so all right, everybody live for me. You have to love me. This is the satanic world. But that's not true love. So I want to live for you. I want to love you. So I want to live for your sake. I want to give you love. These are the people on the heaven side. But Cain doesn't know. So Abel has to show him. So then in the beginning, Cain doesn't understand, but he sees Abel doing it, and that is the way to attend God. And so Cain learns that. So this is the path that Cain must go. So this is horizontal. Husband does that, and then the Eve can understand. Oh, this is how I should attend. That is how to be. But here, two people. The two go to. The two people go to the father and say, "Oh, I have nothing to learn from you." No, that's not the way to do it. This is not the same. The Shimjong is not the same between the husband and wife. And so already we must always be humble. We must never be arrogant. And so the source of our true love is God. So
what is the nature of true love? It is to give and forget that you're giving. Why is that? That's because that's how God exists as well. So, true love, it is the source of life, the source of happiness, the source of peace, the source of unity. It is the source of joy and the source of absolute lineage or true lineage. So, centering on true love, a movement for purity and absolute sex, and a peace movement. We cannot even think of an absolute sex purity movement without true love. We can't have a peace movement without true love. So the fruit of true love needs to be there and needs to be planted, otherwise it cannot blossom. And this is from True Father's words in volume 208 of Father's Speeches, page 48, in the green version. So the seed of true love has, without the seed of true love, there is no life. God's absolute nature has the seed. And that is the seed of true love that has Shimjong. The seed of true love that has Shimjong. That's the essence of God. Therefore, the sperm, Father said that the sperm comes from the very marrow of a man. Same with man and woman. Absolute love between men and women. So the ovum within the woman is a Shimjong, has the Shimjong, but the man's sperm has the essence of God's true love coming from Shimjong. So you have to plant the seed of true love. There's no true love or without Shimjong. So the sperm and ovum must be connected with that Shimjong foundation. So when the seed of true love is planted, it needs to come to fruition through being connected with Shimjong. So What is the basic unit of the kingdom of heaven? The basic unit of the kingdom of heaven is the family. We can say that the kingdom of heaven is the kingdom full of true love. Just like in this physical world, we have air everywhere. We can go everywhere because of air. The same within the spirit world. The atmosphere is true love. That broad spirit world is of true love. Of course, here on the planet Earth, there is air. We can drink water. We can interact with many other minerals and substances. But air is essential for us, and we need it everywhere we go. But in the spirit world, it is the world of love. The world of God's love is an unlimited world of love, just as in the physical world, if there is no air, we cannot live. And in the spirit world, we need to be able to breathe true love. And if we can't breathe true love, then it's painful. So this is why in the spirit world, even if we cannot breathe true love, we need to move away from that place. Even if God brings someone to that place of true love, but they cannot breathe true love, they will automatically move away. So in the spirit world, naturally, once we arrive in the spirit world, we find this part of the spirit world where we are comfortable. And from that viewpoint, nobody can really complain about where they are. The place that is comfortable in the spirit world is based on the way that the person lives during their time on earth. So, family is the basic unit of the kingdom of heaven. What are the constituent elements within that? We have the parents, we have the husband and wife, we have the children, and including the children, we have brothers and sisters. We expand the structure of these elements within the family, we expand it to the clan and to the society and to the nation. So the family is an interconnected body that practices of family ethics. If we practice those same ethics when we go out into society, if we meet some old people of the same age as my parents, then I treat them like I treat my own parents. Doesn't matter whether they're, nice-looking people or, ugly, whatever. We treat them like my own parents. Right. So when men and women go out into society, that doesn't mean that a man should treat other women as if he's his wife. But what it does mean is that he should treat them like his brothers and sisters. So I meet any other woman outside, this is my sister. And a woman, when she's outside, these are my brothers. This is the norms within the family. The norms of ethics within the family need to be expanded out into society. If we don't do that, so if there's a problem within the family ethics and that's expanded, then absolutely we will have problems within society, within the nation. We need to practice those ethics wherever we go. When we go to school, whether we go to our workplace, within the government. With true love, there is no trace. When we give it, there's no trace. When we receive it, there's no trace. It's invisible. Do people follow? If people follow you because you give them money, then when you run out of money, they'll stop following you. So centering on true love. This is how we connect people together and they work together. True love is an incredible power, right? That's the power of God. And that's the power that God brought to, that True Father brought to this earth. So the elements, the constituent elements within the family, parents, husband, wife, children, brothers and sisters. So what about the relational elements? Relational elements we have above and below, right and left, and front and back. So originally there's right and left. Because of the fall, Eve's mistake in the fall reversed the order. This is why commonly we say left and right, but in reality, right should be first and left should be. So we really need to change that so it's right, left, because there needs to be the correct order. It's important for us to establish that correct order. Horizontally, husband and wife. Vertically, we have older brothers and older and younger brothers, older and younger sisters. So parents and child, the love between parents and child through true love is a direct line, and the love between a husband and wife through true love is a direct line. If you connect those points, the 90-degree angle, they will create a 90-degree angle if we connect the direct line between husband and wife and parents and children. With the 90-degree angle, then every one of the angles around 360 degrees are all equal. And this is why true love appeals to everything. True love is equal to everyone, and everybody likes true love. If you catch on a train and you put your money in and get on the train, you have to get onto the train at the right time when the doors are open. If you miss the doors, you can't get in. And this is an example that the world that God created, there is an order, there is a law that we need to follow in order to, act properly. So up and down. So between, upper and lower, or above and low, there's a central point there. So it's above, center, and low, and then right, center, and left. And that center point needs to be the same place. If the angle is not, we might think it's 90 degrees, but if you look in a but if in fact that angle is not absolutely 90%, then it will lose its order and lose its stability. So the central point is God's place and is the core. It's the core of the nucleus. And so that center is accomplished through Shimjeong. God is the original substance of Shimjeong, the original substance of love, source of love. So the motivation for creation was Shimjeong, but the purpose was the fulfillment and perfection of true love. So the order within the family is the basis for order within the entire universe and the entire cosmos. It's the same order that we see in the family is the order that we see in the universe. So this is because the family is the basic unit. From God's viewpoint, the family is also the ideal of God's creation. If we look at the numbers, the number of heaven is 3, and this 3 represents God and Adam and Eve. The number of earth is 4, and this is God, Adam, Eve, and children.
We say Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Why don't we say Father, Son, and Holy Daughter? or daughter, father, son, and daughter. Why is that? And so, the heaven is a three, but it's God and Adam and Eve, and then earth is a four.
So when Adam and Eve are united and in marriage, then they have children. So what about the family? The family is represented by the number seven. The two parents together become one with God. And then they also have the role of husband and wife, and then you have children. So 7 represents the family. My father had a 60th anniversary, the holy marriage at 1960, sorry. True Parents Holy Marriage was held in 1960, and then there was a 7-year period, 7-year course. Father explained that the 7-year period was the course to establish the position of Eve on the earth. But there were also, within the 7-year period, there was the 3-year period to establish the position of Eve, and the 4-year period to establish the position of children. And when they are combined together, that was the foundation for the establishment of the family. That's why the number 7. That's another expression of the number 7, representing the family. So Father established the Parents' Day, Children's Day, and the Day of All Things, and after the 7-year period, established God's Day. Why was there, within the 7-year course, there was a 3-year course and a 4-year course? And then there was another 7-year course, another 7-year course. That's because the first 7-year course was expanded. It shouldn't be contracted, it should be expanded. So from the one core center that True Father established, it needs to be expanded. That's the establishment of the number 3 and the number 4, and then that's expanded. Dual purposes. So all beings were created resembling God, and there are two components. There is a Songsang element and a Hyongsang element, and the Songsang element has a Songsang purpose, and the Hyongsang element has a Hyongsang purpose. The Songsang purpose is related to the purpose of the whole, and the Hyongsang purpose is the purpose of the individual. These correspond to public purpose and individual purpose. When we establish any ideal, there is a dual purpose there. There's a whole purpose and an individual purpose. For example, what about when I eat, for example? Am I eating to live, or do I live to eat? Do I eat to live, or do I live in order to eat? Do you know what I'm saying? They seem the same, but they're not. They're completely different. The purpose is, if I live to eat, that's the purpose. If I eat to live, then that's the purpose. Why should I eat? For my family. So individual purpose is to protect and maintain oneself, but the purpose of the individual purpose is connected to the whole purpose for the sake of the whole. But in the fallen world, people don't think of the purpose of the whole. That's the problem. So we have to be really, really clear that there's an individual purpose and a whole purpose. The individual purpose exists for the sake of the whole purpose, and then the whole purpose is there to preserve and aid the individual purpose to reach its fulfillment. There's a reciprocal relationship between the two of them. Individual purpose for the sake of the whole, and the sake of the whole exists for the sake of the individual, to help the individual. So, as an individual, I live for my family, I live for the world. Well, what about the world? The nation. The nation needs to protect the individuals who live within that nation. That way they can support the purpose of the whole. And all beings have these dual purposes. If we break and destroy the relationship between the dual purposes, that's not good, that's wrong. The purpose of the whole is a public purpose, individual purpose. Individual purpose relates to private purpose. So, Father once said this: what person is a person of character, and what person is an individual or a selfish person? It's related to how much they live for the whole. When I earn $100 and I don't use that $100, let's say I didn't use that $100, I just went and bought a hamburger, but I have limited money. For some purpose, when they have public money, they will go and be very frugal about how they use it. And yet there are people who will take public money and say, well, this is public money, it's not mine. I can buy a lot of things. You know, someone on public money will just buy one hamburger. Other people with public money will say, well, it's public money, I can buy as many hamburgers as I want because it's not mine. There's a purpose for public money. And the way we use it needs to be, the result of that use needs to be aligned with that purpose. That's the difference between public and private. If someone who clearly understands public and private, you can, give them money or entrust money to them, and it's not a problem. We need to understand clearly the difference and the relationship between public and private. So we have a private responsibility, but we also have a public responsibility. I have a responsibility to protect myself, that's a private responsibility, but I also have a responsibility to protect the whole, others that I am with. Within True Parents family, we also have a responsibility to protect True Parents family because they represent the whole. So to understand ourselves, we need to understand clearly purpose. So all of the universe is a connected body, an organic body within the individual. Particles come together to form atoms. Atoms come together to form molecules. Molecules form plants, animals to parents, and human beings are the concentrated or a microcosm of all of the elements. The human lives for the sake of human beings. So each of these lower levels exists for has the purpose of existing so that the higher level can also exist. In this sense, an individual lives for the sake of the family. A family exists so that the clan can exist. The clan functions and exists so that the people, that the ethnic group can exist. Ethnic groups are there so that the nation can exist. Nations are there so the world can exist. So, when a nation exists only for itself and ignores the needs of the world, then the nation is just existing for a private purpose rather than a public purpose. The nation, when the world exists in order that the cosmos can exist, and the cosmos exists for God. Okay, we'll wrap it up here this morning. I've gone over about 7 minutes. Let's continue and extend our break for the same period of time. Thank you very much.